Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired.
how's it going, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the Absolute Batman Arkham Asylum from DC Comics. We're going to be looking at the latest printing. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. So what we're looking at here is the latest printing of the Absolute Batman Arkham Asylum. This is the 2024 printing. It has been previously printed in an Absolute edition back in 2019, and that's what this version is here. The new printing does come wrapped in plastic, and it comes with a little leaflet, a Batman Classic, restored to its original beauty, ISBN, and the retail price of this one is $100. So, the original printing was $75, and the new printing is $100, but it has been out of print for, I want to say, a couple of years. And it has been printed in many, many editions. Standard size hardcover, deluxe hardcover, a reprint of the deluxe hardcover a couple of years ago. One thing you're going to note here is the difference in the spine. The light bulb in the original printing, for some reason, dangling down just a little bit lower. That's an interesting choice. The DC logo, Absolute Batman, same font, Arkham Asylum, same font, a serious house on serious Earth. Still the same subtitle there. Grant Morrison, Dave McKean. The one thing that is not in this version, and thank goodness, is the 30th anniversary edition. Of course, it's not 30 years, right? Oh my gosh, is it? No way, 1989? Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh, 35 years? Oh, it just feels wrong thinking 1989 was 35 years ago. Okay. Back to this. Oh gosh, sorry, the lighting is... There we go. This is the back of the book, and... just like the first printing, no design on the actual spine of the book, which I always found interesting because I like to keep my slipcases out like this, but this one doesn't have a design, so this one actually gets stored like this. Let's get it out of the slipcase, and nothing in the slipcase there. No real design there, except for maybe the light bulb right there, and then the ISBN also down here, same as the original printing, and this one $100, the DC logo. The art on board, no dust jacket. You have a design here by Dave McKean, colors looking very, very almost identical, and the spines we already seen, and then the backs of the books right here with that same design by Dave McKean. We are going to be opening up the Absolute Edition, and of course talking a little bit about the story, not too much in detail, because I do want people to genuinely enjoy this for the first time if you haven't read it, and looking at this beautiful artwork, and looking at the extras, and then of course a comparison with the original printing. Okay, let's go ahead and open this Absolute up. Here are your end sheets right here, with this particular design. Dave McKean, of course, being known for his photography and pencils and paintings, did a bunch of all the covers actually for the Sandman, Batman Arkham Asylum right here, Absolute Batman Arkham Asylum, as it is played today. And man, these designs are so creepy, kind of giving you an idea of what to expect. Arkham Asylum is serious house on serious Earth. And that is from a quote written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by Dave McKean, lettered by Gaspar Saladino, which we do need to talk a little bit about the lettering here. Batman created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger, book design by Dave McKean, and it is a beautiful book design. There are quotes in here from Alice in Wonderland because, well, Morrison actually borrows a lot of elements from Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass for the story in here. Now, this is an original graphic novel. It was originally released in 1989, and it has 248 pages. So, originally it was supposed to be Brian Boland that drew this, and it never ceases to amaze me just how different of a story that would have been. But Grant Morrison decided to team up with somebody, whether it was an editor or Grant's decision, with somebody that doesn't have that art style that they were looking for. Keep in mind, this is 1989, so after Watchmen, after oh my gosh, after the Killing Joke and stories like that, year one. This is a very traditional style. This is a nightmare fuel style, which I absolutely love. The basic plot of this is simple, but we're not just looking at the plot. The basic plot is that Batman gets called by Commissioner Gordon, and he's like, "What's up?" And Commissioner Gordon's like, "There's been a riot at Arkham Asylum. That's what's up." And seriously, that's the dialogue in here. It's not your traditional Batman either. It is a very interesting take on Batman. So, in the deluxe edition that I did an overview of a few years ago, they did put it as a DC Black Label. I didn't see the DC Black Label logo. Everything I see is DC in this one. So, Batman gets called to go into Arkham Asylum because there's been a riot. The prisoners have broken free, and he's the only one that is needed to go in there, and they're going to let a bunch of the captives go. So they have a bunch of people that worked at the prison, whether it's somebody that worked in the kitchen, or a guard, or a nurse, that they are holding captive until Batman comes into Arkham Asylum. And for the first time, you see Batman almost a little bit scared. Not because I love the way that he phrases this. Not because he's Batman. Batman is not scared. It's because he's afraid of what's going to come out after leaving Arkham Asylum. So in there, the Joker, who's kind of leading everybody, because of course he is. We're going to move this right here. Is going to play a game with him. It's kind of a cat and mouse game. They're going to be chasing after Batman. He has a certain amount of time and tasks to do. Now, the Joker did live up to his word and set the captives loose. However, there are a couple of people that decide to stay here because they feel like it is their job to work here and help these prisoners out, so they refuse to leave. Which I always found so weird. Like, if you're given a chance, get the hell out of there. Like Dr. Charles, what's his name? Cavendish, that guy decides to stay. He's Arkham's administrator. Dr. Ruth Adams, who's a therapist at Arkham, still working on Two-Face, decides to stay. Now, one of the other things that is happening through here is it actually starts off like this. We start off with the journal entries here from Amadeus Arkham, who is the founder of the Arkham Asylum. Talking a little bit about his mother, how his mother was seeing demons, and she was plagued by demons in the shape of a bat. Now, I'm not going to go full out talking about what the story is because I want people to really enjoy this for what it is. Now, his mother is murdered, and she's sexually assaulted, which drives him to figure out a way to get rid of evil in Gotham. So he has vowed to get rid of the binding of this evil spirit of the bat with some kind of sorcery. So there's a lot of dark elements in the origin of Arkham Asylum. And you can find out exactly what happens with that story and how it ties into this. And it ties into this, I hate to say the word beautifully, but it really does. It's written like a beautiful, dark poetry. Now, that's the basic story. What's really happening is that Batman is about to go into a world that he may have created. He might be the reason why these particular villains are the way they are. And it's really a character study on him. Lots of imagery, and a lot of it in your face. And some of it, not so much. Some of it really subtle that you have to do a couple of rereads. And I love books like that. I love books that make you go and read them over and over again. Now, I did want to note one thing, and that is Gaspar Saladino's lettering. Each of the characters in here have a different style of talking. Like, Joker's is like this blood that is splattered everywhere. Insanity. And that's been changed. It used to be, I think, red and white in previous editions. And then they changed it a few years back. So everybody has like their own speech bubbles through here. Even the people that are trapped at Arkham, the captives that are trapped by all these villains. And Batman obviously has a different speech bubble. Now, earlier in the story, Batman said he was afraid to go in here. And I said that this is a different take on Batman. I mean, guys like, what's up? And Commissioner Gordon's like, that's what's up. But it's more than that. It's kind of like Batman Year One. He's still sort of new to this, but not really. And that's why I've always took this story as a standalone story, right? Like, not really a part of continuity. Yes, it can be, but he just acts so different. Like, he's actually beaten down by not superpowered villains, not meta humans. He's actually beaten down by regular people. And the way that he acts here sometimes really makes you question, where are we? I mean, are we talking about this serious Earth, or is this another Earth? Is this a joke on the idea of Crisis on Infinite Earths? But this is a psychological look at not just Batman, but the rest of the villains in the story. Because in here, you're going to see people like Two-Face. You're going to see the Scarecrow. You're going to see Clayface. Clayface and Killer Croc are creepy as hell in this story. And you're going to see people like Maxie Sue's Mad Hatter, of course, because we are talking about Alice in Wonderland. And each of these villains are reimagined as psychoanalytic archetypes to give you a character study on, like I said, not just Batman and who he is, but the villains themselves and how much Arkham can change them. It is a dark and twisted story, and I'm glad that it's being reprinted right around, there's artwork like this. Like I said, photographs, pencils, inks, and of course paintings. Creepy, creepy imagery. Because we're right around, Halloween, so it's a great time for a horror story. I may actually suggest reading this for old reader, new reader, because I don't think neither Maddie nor Amanda have read this. But the more you dive into this, the more that Batman goes into this maze of madness that is Arkham Asylum, the more you start understanding who he is and why he has to be the way that he is. This is Morrison just firing on Morrison cylinders back in '89, having some fun like he did in the pages of Animal Man and twisting it up. Oh my gosh. And there is plenty of twist in both the journal and the main story that is going on here when you figure out exactly what's happened and who ended up causing the riot at Arkham Asylum to let all of these villains out. And what was the reasoning behind that? Now, that's just a little bit of what this is. It is so much more than that, so that's why I want to do an old reader, new reader. I will be doing a comparison here in a little bit, and that's all I will say about it. So don't expect like this Batman that is a complete badass and sure of himself going into an Arkham Asylum and just kicking ass and taking names. Sorry, I grew up in Kentucky, and that's just the way we talk here. But this is more of a, like, compared to like a Batman, a rookie Batman year one that isn't sure of himself and also scared what he really is. Not who he is, but what he really is on the inside. This is a note of the restoration from Dave McKean talking about the lettering that I was just talking about, and also cleaning up some of the art the way that he always envisioned it. And when you go back here to look at the script, and of course look at the burger notes and the notes from McKean himself, you'll see a lot of the changes that were made. Like, apparently they wanted to use Robin at the beginning, and McKean was like, no, that's ridiculous, we're not going to do that. And I cannot imagine, again, how Brian Bolland would have handled this. So the script is all in here. By the way, much like the first printing, the script is printed in this thick matte paper, while the rest of the book is printed in this thick glossy paper stock. So when the script starts, printed in this thick matte paper. I like that touch. That's a nice touch. And then you get layouts and almost like a storyboard of what's going on here. Now, Grant Morrison did sketch out kind of like some of the angles that they wanted included in the story. By the way, this is also printed in thick glossy paper, not the matte paper. So when we get out of the script, it's back to the thick glossy paper stock. Yeah, layouts of the way they wanted the story to be told. And then you get different covers here. So this one actually has more pages than the deluxe edition, and it's mainly the scans of like convention artwork that you didn't see before. And then, of course, the design of the deluxe edition and more convention sketches. And this is the pretty much sketching out the cover of the way that Dave McKean wanted it made. And then your end sheets. I wanted to go back here really quick to again talk about McKean and just how crucial of a part he played in all this. It's a great story by Morrison. I mean, it's got many layers. It makes you think twice about everything you know about Batman. But I don't think it could have been done without somebody like Dave McKean's wild imagery. There are things in here that are just so, I don't want to use the word psychedelic because people just throw that around like, ooh, drugs. And yeah, no, that's not what I mean. I mean like stuff that you would see in nightmares. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of pages, especially when it comes to Scarecrow and Killer Croc, that is the stuff of night. Like, I think I've had nightmares walking down alleys like that. And I've never seen it portrayed in a comic book unlike, like, this is the first time I've ever actually seen my nightmares in a comic book. The way that he draws Joker, the way that, again, Gaspar's lettering, the way the Joker talks. You could say he borrowed, of course, influence from somebody like Bill Sienkiewicz, but it's just so more, like, but it's just so much more than that. Oh, man. Simon Beasley in here. It's just beautiful, dark artwork. Let me do a quick comparison to the original printing. Alright, before I compare it to the original printing, it is sewn binding, and there's that eye right there. Now I want to compare it to the original printing, and yes, the original printing also comes with a ribbon. The colors on the cover look almost identical, but when you get to the inside, they're a little bit darker over here in the new printing. Not by much, but you can tell subtle differences in them. And the paper stock, it's a little thinner than the paper stock in the original printing. Not by much. I'm not saying like, oh, this is like the tracing paper or anything like that, but just a little bit different. You did want to see again what the colors look like. Yeah, just a little bit darker. Not much. Honestly, it's almost got like a brownish tone instead of like the silver tone in the 2019 printing. Yeah, like that. I think that's a perfect example right here. But again, that could be due to the paper stock that they used. And just beautiful artwork. But that is it. That's it. I mean, it's got the same extras as the previous version does, where it ends right here with this image that he was, there we go, planning out for the cover of this Absolute Edition. So just like that. But that is it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this Absolute Edition, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build, and of course the comparison to the original printing. Let me know in the comments down below if you already have it in Absolute Edition, if you've read the story, what you think about it, if you have the deluxe, the trade paperback, whatever format it is. I would love to know your thoughts. Any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And more importantly, what other Batman story do you want to see in Absolute Edition? Alright everybody, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.